Welcome to the Wheelchair Fencing Coach. Introducing Gemma, winning her first gold medal at the Montreal 2018 World Cup. In part 8, we'll be looking at options of what to do when your opponent takes a parry on your attack. When you're looking at World Cups, you'll notice that the remise action is becoming very prominent in all three weapons. Here I am instructing the fencer to lunge, stay out, withdraw the elbow and thrust through again for the remise just below the wrist as she demonstrates there. As the coach, I intentionally take a wide circular 6 parry with my blade up in the air and exposing the underneath of my wrist. As the coach, sometimes I don't take a parry. This is to make sure that the fencer is executing a good lunge and not preempting the remise. The tempo of the remise should be a 1-2 and then the 3 for the counter-attack. It should be a short, sharp action after the initial attack. Working on a remise from my cart parry. As you notice, when I take the cart parry, I move back slightly and do an exaggerated cart parry, and then I hold it there to allow the remise to happen. The remise from the fencer must happen with the straight lunge, staying out with the body, withdrawing the elbow and punching in with the remise. I am always one for the fencer to think for themselves. So here the fencer is forgetting to return with point in line and look for a counter-attack. Just reminding her what she should be doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And again, without telling the fencer, changing the parry that I'm taking, making it more random. Either I take a circular 6 or I take a deep cart. Good. Two more. Last one. Come on, full lunge. Full lunge. Punch. Full lunge. Up. Up. Full lunge. Hand first. Up. Okay. Two more. Full lunge. 1, 2, 3. Good. Last one. Full lunge. 1, 2, 3. Second alternative to a remise on my cart parry, especially when your opponent pins your blade onto their apron, is to wait out there, wait for the riposte to happen, and then just push through, leaning forward and lower as much as you can. two. One, riposte.
Demonstrating how the action should be taken for my remise. Defensor takes a parry, I pause, and as soon as she starts to riposte, I push through, lower, and remise. When done effectively, you can get away with a single light. However, you can set your opponent up to do the remise as long as you're happy with the double light.
1, 2, perfect. 1, 2.
Explaining to the fencer that the remise can be done as a second intention. You know your opponent is going to take a parry and pause. You're just waiting for them to start the riposte, and then you're going to through with the remise. Because you've determined that you're going to do this action as a second intention, your initial attack and speed of the attack is about 80% speed and 80% distance. You wait for the parry to happen, and then you push through with the last 20% and accelerate that final action. Again, as the coach, I've moved back and taken exaggerated cease parry. Sometimes I'm a little bit slow and I can't get it right. So here I'm pushing a little bit harder. Changing to a cart parry, you'll notice I put a towel over my legs. So I'm really trying to pin his blade onto my lap or the opponent's apron. As the coach, I randomize which parry I take. Sometimes I move back, sometimes I don't, and then I follow through with an attempt to engage his blade, expecting the fencer to do a counterattack, and still following through with my extended arm to allow the fencer to do a second or a third action. Good to see that the final action the fencer is taking is a high septime flick. This was my 5th or 6th lesson with this fencer, and you can see his improvement, the speed, the tempo that he's working at, and I'm trying to push him as much as I can by going back, changing which parry I take. Time for a break. It's very hot over there. Towards the end of the lesson, it's good to push the fencer so that they can really get into the swing of things. Keep repeating, keep changing what you're doing, and practice, and then finally even more practice.